Ryan Day can take the QB room to the next level by adding a seasoned quarterback to the transfer portal.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to your Thursday edition of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, Veteran Sports Talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. During today's show, we'll discuss how Tavien St. Clair can be in the mix of the QB battle, as well as if history will repeat itself in 2025. But first, when you look at Ohio State's QB room, you see a lot of talent, from Julian Sayin to Lincoln Holes to Tavien St. Clair. All three quarterbacks are really, really good, and some of them have elite traits. However, there's one glaring hole with these guys. None of them are experienced, and that QB room doesn't have a veteran voice. That's where the portal comes in. Ryan Day can tap into the portal to upgrade the room. No, you're not trying to go and get a start in the portal right now. No. Well, you're trying to get a seasoned quarterback to be a veteran presence to help these youngsters throughout the season. And if I'm saying or Keenholz or St. Clair, I want that. I want a coach to help bring someone in that's my age, that is not trying to be the starting quarterback, that realizes they don't have a realistic opportunity to go elsewhere after playing college football. Come in, have a shot to win a ring, but also have a shot to be the best you can be. Remember Tristan Gebbia, the Oregon State transfer? What was he? A veteran voice. That seasoned presence that the QB room needed. Remember Chase Chugginoff back in 2019? What was he? The same thing. And Ryan Day right now, as he has done it previously, this is a time to do it. Now, I went through scrolling through the portal. It's just 24/7 Sports has a portal tracker there. I really appreciate them for keeping track of that. One thing I noticed, there are a lot of guys that have played 1 or 2 years of football that are in the portal right now. There are even some guys that just got on campus, ain't even played a week 1 of a season, and that are already in the portal. I don't like some of the stuff going on with the portal. But for Ryan Day, no matter what his feelings are with the portal rules or the portal usage of the players, it might be a little difficult to find a guy that's in his final year of college football that wants to come to Ohio State to chase a ring. Because that's what you're doing. Do you think Tristan Gebbia came to Ohio State to just come to be a backup, to be the third-string quarterback? No, what was he doing? Coming to a school where he thought he could win a ring. I'm not trying to be mean to Beavers fans out there. Oregon State would win a Natty in 2023. Okay. Kentucky fans or Wildcat fans back in 2019 when Chase Chugginoff came to Ohio State. I'm not trying to be mean to you. The Wildcats weren't winning the national championship that year, even before the season started. So you have guys leaving the previous schools coming to Ohio State for what? To try to win a ring. And I get it. I mean, think about the NBA. We're in the midst of the NBA playoffs right now. Turn the Warriors game off, Warriors and Rockets. The Warriors were in the midst of a comeback when I hit record here this evening. And you think about the Warriors and their run to the NBA championship and getting national rings there. LeBron James, as many of you are Cavs fans, when he was back in Cleveland the second time. You think about some of the older guys and Kobe and Shaq and Michael Jordan and Tim Duncan. What do you find with these guys? Every guy I mentioned had someone that was a veteran presence on the team. From Robert Horry with both Duncan and Kobe and Shaq to guys that were playing with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to guys that are playing with LeBron. All of the championship teams had guys that came there to be the veteran presence, to be the seasoned leader there, because even as stars in the NBA, you need someone to be that kind of voice. I don't know what kind of player Stain is going to be. I can project and make some bold proclamations about what he might be this year, but I truly have no idea. But what I do know is this. Stan would massively benefit, or Keenholz would massively benefit from having an older quarterback in the room. I mean, think about you and your job. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you work. I don't even know where you live. Think about wherever you work right now. Your first day on the job, and you walk around and you see everybody, and you're trying to figure out the lay of the land. And all of a sudden, there's a guy that's been there for 35 years, and he's a little rough around the edges. He's a little grumpy at times, but when it comes down to get the job done, this is what any field you're in, he gets it done very, very well. Doesn't have the headaches of other people. He knows how to work around some of the obstacles that come up. And the next thing you know, you're trying to figure out, how can I learn from that guy? Because you go 2 weeks in, 4 months in, a year in, and you're having a lot of hiccups, a lot of struggles. Why? Because you're still trying to figure things out. Where that guy that was there when you first started, he's now there for 36 years. And you're thinking, I understand why you stayed here this long, because you figured some things out along the way. What can I learn from you? What can you help me with to help me be a better person at whatever field you're in? Same thing right now. If you go to the portal and try to get someone in, it's probably not going to be a guy that's playing a lot of ball. It's probably not a guy that's been to 3 or 4 playoffs, college football playoff games. No. What are you going to find? You're probably going to have somebody that has 4 to 8 starts, maybe 12 starts under the belt, has done a couple of good things, had some decent film with her on the field, but they don't have the elite traits. They don't have some of the things that keep them on the field. So what do you do when you bring them in? Help them learn the offense, but also help them get acclimated to these quarterbacks so they can be the best quarterbacks they can be out there on the field. And that's it. I used to sell cars, man. I talk about that quite a bit. I used to do door-to-door sales before I started selling cars. That was a whole different can of worms. I used to work at Chick-fil-A. I used to work at Steak and Shake, and used to work at the deli, at Meyer Deli and the bakery, actually, at Meyer. I've had quite a few jobs. Now, some of those were a long, long time ago, but no matter if I was working there or if it was a warehouse job, no matter the job I was working, I always knew, and I could tell who the guy that had been there for a while, because they carried themselves a little different. Maybe they were talked a little bit more trash, whatever the case may be. They were just a little bit different. And so I knew with them being different, I could look at them and I could say, hey, man, help me out. What is it you're doing that is able to help you be so successful while I'm here struggling? I used to work at the airport in Indianapolis at the FedEx there. And one of the things about that job, the pay was the best pay I'd ever had in my life at an hourly job. Now, one of the bad parts is working outside on a ramp at an airport, no matter what the weather is. Now, if it's a thunderstorm, they have you come back in. But remember a couple years ago when it was stupid cold? I mean, it was like negative 20, negative 30. Yeah, for some reason they had us work out there. I have no idea. I do know why. It just didn't make any sense. But there are guys that when I started working at that job, I could tell they'd been there for a while. They knew how to work with the different managers. They knew how to work with the equipment. I was nervous. I was definitely nervous because I don't do well with big machinery. I had never done it. And so it took me a little bit of time to get used to the machines we were working with. And over time, as I went through the training classes and as I figured some things out, one thing I learned was I needed to tap into them resources. Not the physical resources being a book on a bookshelf, but the people that were on my team. I needed to tap into them and figure out, hey, man, how do I use this loader? Man, I'm a little nervous moving this thing. It's kind of big, moving it towards a big old plane. I ain't trying to mess something up, hit the plane, and lose my job. I ain't trying to do none of that. So what do I do? Hey, help me out. They walk up there. My buddy Alex used to walk up and, hey, do this, turn it this way, turn it that way. Have your approach come at this angle, not the other one. Oh, this is how you do it. And that's the same thing these guys need. And Ryan Day, who was trying to upgrade at every position, some are more important than others to upgrade. But when it comes to the QB room, you can upgrade this room through the portal by getting a seasoned quarterback. And I believe no matter if it's Sayin or Ken Holmes, who's a starting quarterback this year, I believe both guys could benefit from Ryan Day getting a seasoned quarterback in the portal. One thing I think about in regards to this quarterback room this year is something that happened previously at Ohio State, and I wonder if it'll happen again in 2025. This episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports, College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. Head to Amazon.com/FireTV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. This episode is also brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build and practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the All-Stars are the hard-working manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts to help make every day easier. Seeing your whole supply chain is easier. Managing logistics is easier. Responding to price changes is easier. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with a global vision, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. Because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hard-working minute. Easier doesn't cut corners, easier takes the lead. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That's www.easierwithepicor.com. Thank y'all for tapping the Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. When I think about this year's quarterback room, I think about another quarterback room that Ryan Day had during his tenure as head coach for the Buckeyes. And I go back to 2023. Kyle McCord, Devin Brown, Lincoln Kienholz were the three quarterbacks. And in that year, Ryan Day decided to not go to the portal to get a seasoned quarterback. He stuck with those three guys that were inexperienced. A quarterback battle that was unlike anything I thought we would ever see at Ohio State, where Ryan Day led the thing going to week 2 of the season before naming a starter, I believe it was that Sunday or Monday after the week 2 win. Kyle McCord played all 12 regular season games, into the portal the Monday after the conference championship weekend. Devin Brown comes in the bowl game against Missouri. He gets injured in the first quarter. Lincoln Kienholz comes in. He's the third-string quarterback. He wasn't ready for that moment, and the Buckeyes lose to Missouri. And I compared this year to that year, not because of talent, but because of the inexperience in the room, and right now there really is no seasoned voice. Do I think it's going to happen again to where the results of the 2023 season are going to be similar to what we have this year? I don't want to go that far at all. I don't. Because I don't want to put 2023 on McCord and say, oh, it was all McCord's fault. No, I'm not that guy. I think McCord was a first-year starter, had some things that he could have done better, but if you do something for the first time, especially at this level at Ohio State, you're probably going to have some problems. McCord had his problems. I think he would have been great last year, honestly. I don't know if he would have had the same results Howard did, but I think if he was at Ohio State last year, oh my gosh, better numbers? Yes. Better completion percentage? Absolutely. Better ball placement? More accurate? Absolutely. There are a lot of things that would have been better about Kyle McCord last year versus year 1 to starter versus year 2. But I compare that year to this year because if you look at Sayin and Kienholz and St. Clair, it's very similar to McCord, Brown, and Kienholz in 23. Talented quarterbacks. Some of them have elite traits, but there's no experience and no seasoned voice. And it makes me wonder, is that going to happen again? I would err on the side of no, because I think Sayin is the most talented guy currently in the room. I think St. Clair, at the end of the day, can be the better quarterback among all three of them, but I can't say he will be yet because we just haven't seen him play the ball. But you would err on the side of no? Because I don't think Ryan Day would make the same mistake again. You hit on some recruits. I think Kienholz came in after one of the quarterbacks in his recruiting class decommitted and flipped to another school. Name escapes me right now. So no, I wouldn't put Keto's in a situation like, yeah, he was not the original guy, but he's good enough to play. I mean, Ryan Day even documented that going into the spring game, Keatholz had the upper hand over Sayin. After the spring game, Sayin is now moving back up, and it's neck and neck. It's a two-horse race. I don't think Ryan Day would have said that if it wasn't true, but I also think Ryan Day has learned from his previous mistakes. If Ryan Day thought he didn't have the right guy on the team right now to be the starting quarterback, I think he would be aggressive in the portal with the quarterback position. But also, I think it would have happened in the winter. Devin Brown stayed on the team, but he was going to enter the portal. Now at Cal, good for him, back on the West Coast. But I think it would have been something he would have pursued in the wintertime, not now. I'm not saying he didn't pursue it. There's no quarterback on the team right now. I think if Ryan Day wanted a quarterback in the portal in the winter, absolutely, he would have got that guy. 100%, he would have found a way to get that person. I don't think that's going to be a repeat of 2023. Yes, history can repeat itself. It definitely can. But in 2023, that was just an interesting year. Stroud was gone, had a great 2-year run, starting quarterback at Ohio State. You have a guy in McCord who has the arm talent, didn't put it all together, had some issues with pocket awareness and things like that. The numbers that year from McCord weren't horrible. 3,000-yard passer, 24 touchdowns, 6 INTs, a completion percentage of 65.8. Like, his numbers weren't bad. His numbers weren't atrocious. He just was a first-year starter and got the boot. Got quickly realized he was going to have to compete for the starting role in the upcoming year. It wasn't going to be handed to him. I think Ryan Day has a guy right now. I don't see a scenario of 2023 being where Ohio State loses to Michigan again. If I had to pick a winner right now, I'm not going to do that for obvious reasons. So you've seen the last 4 years. I'm not going to try and talk about winner of that game right now because that's a conversation where you will see your boy get very, very passionate. And I might get a little annoyed because, I mean, it's just unfortunate what's happened. I don't think it's going to repeat itself. I really don't. Because I think right now, Sayin can be better than McCord was in the 2023 season. Keatholz, on the other hand, and St. Clair, I don't know what to expect. You might. And if you do, let me know in the YouTube comment section on this video what you expect from these two guys. But I don't think history is going to repeat itself. And I think Ryan Day has done a better job in recruiting quarterbacks. He's always gotten good quarterbacks. I think he's done a better job with recruiting quarterbacks so that doesn't happen again. However, it is possible. But right now, I'm going to say it's highly unlikely. What is likely is that Tavien St. Clair in the future will be in the mix for the Buckeyes QB battle. And I know how that young man can get in that conversation. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Thank y'all for tapping Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Tavien St. Clair, the Ohio kid, is now wearing the scarlet and gray, and that's such a high honor. I can only imagine what was going through St. Clair's mind when he was preparing for the spring game and he put that jersey on for the very first time before his first spring game. I can only imagine. I know it's a song. I'm not going to sing the song for you. I really ain't heard it in a long time, but if I had, this ain't the time for your boy to sing. But while it was his first time putting that jersey on before going into a spring game, there's also a way for this young man to not only make that first time a time that he's going to remember, but a time where he's showing everybody he's using that moment to take steps, to take strides, to get in the mix of the QB battle. While he's not in the mix right now, he can be in the mix in the future. And Ryan Day discussed Tavien St. Clair and how he can be in the mix of what is currently a two-horse race. Quote, you can see the talent with Tavian. He just needs more experience, needs more at-bats, and the more he does that, the more he'll be in the mix. But right now, it's a two-horse race, end quote. Very well said by Ryan Day, which I mean, every day has heard it yesterday. Talk about how Ryan Day sometimes uses the coach speak, and you realize he's saying a lot of words, but not saying anything at all. He said very few words, but said a lot. The talent for Tavian is there, but he needs more experience. I like the whole baseball reference. Homie just needs more at-bats. And the more he does that, the more he'll be in the mix. I don't have a problem with that, but that's expected for a true freshman quarterback. If you were somebody out there that thought Tavien St. Clair is going to have a legitimate shot to win the QB battle out there, I would like to know what you were using to base that opinion on. Because if you're saying, well, he's an Ohio kid, really good quarterback, went to the Elite 11 finals, that's my standard. Okay, cool. Does he know the speed of the college football game? Does he know how to handle that? Does he know what to do when there's an edge rusher coming off the edge that runs a 4.6 but knows how to use that elite spin move, spin back inside, and bam? Does he know how to overcome that? Does he know how to change pictures? Well, I got a picture before the snap and they're doing this. All of a sudden, a second after the snap, there's a different picture and I'm confused. Does he know how to do all of that stuff? That only comes with time. That only comes with experience. And while St. Clair doesn't have a lot of time in Columbus on the football field at Ohio State, or a lot of experience wearing a college football uniform, that does not mean that he can't get both of those things. Now, here's the unfortunate thing when you're the third string quarterback, you're not going to play a lot. Think back to last year, where it was Will Howard, Devin Brown, Julian Sayin, and then Lane Kinholz. There were some times, I even think Aaron Nolan got a few snaps one game, but there were times the Buckeyes had such a big lead, they played 4 quarterbacks. How often did Sayin and Kinholz play? Not much. Did they ever get a full quarter? And I think one of them may have gotten a full quarter, maybe, but I highly doubt it, because if Devin Brown's coming in, he's going to get probably a full quarter's worth, and then you're going to divide the rest of the time up between the other guys that are in that room. So it's going to be very, very hard for this young man to get that experience and to get those at-bats in the season. So how can he get them? In practice. Practice, practice, practice. Just like I wasn't going to sing I Can Only Imagine, just like I'm not going to go back to do the Allen Iverson press conference from the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, we're talking about practice, man. That's the best you're going to get. Practice is the time for St. Clair to get those reps in. And it is baseball season right now, and I got a high school game to cover on Friday night. You can tell early in the game when someone getting their first at-bat, and you're like, man, a little rusty, strike out a little bit, just not in the groove. Next at-bat. And if you're lucky in a high school game to get 4 at-bats, what are you going to find? Well, the first at-bat was a little rusty, but they get into a groove and they get more comfortable as the game keeps going. Similar to pitching. Sometimes when it comes to pitching, your first inning, you might not be your sharpest, you might not be your strongest. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and if you're looking to go the 6th and the 7th, what are you going to find? You're more comfortable, you're more locked in, you're figuring things out, and you're smoother. That stuff is huge. And think about, we could even tie this into Ohio State players. Think about a guy that's a multi-year starter. But all of a sudden, that first game they start, they're rusty. Things don't always go their way. They're leaving the field scratching their head wondering, what did I do wrong? And the next thing you know, year 2 as a starter. Oh, man, this was some major strides. How do they do it? By playing the game. And Tavien St. Clair is the guy that by playing more, getting more reps, getting more at-bats I'm going to keep using that reference all show. That's how he can get in the mix. It's no knock for a true freshman quarterback to not be there. I said it last year with Julian Sayin, but people are trying to tell me that Julian Sayin was going to be QB1, 5-star kid, very, very talented. I think he's from Carlsbad, California. I don't care where you're from, but that's just something that pops to my head when I hear about Carlsbad. It's rare, unique, and I think people out there got a little bit of bread. Sayin wasn't going to win the QB battle last year, and St. Clair wasn't going to win it either. I don't care how talented you are. Ryan Day is not starting a freshman, a true freshman at that. One, the inexperience is really, really glaring. It's going to show up in a big way on the field. But two, learning that playbook is going to take a long time, buddy. It's not a breeze to learn Ohio State's playbook. It's going to take a little bit of time while you're trying to figure out your life and adjusting to life as a college football player where you're on your own. You got to make your own bed. You got to get your own food, all the things that sometimes we don't even think about when someone goes to a new school out of high school. Yeah, you got to do that stuff all on your own. You got to mature and get under your feet really, really quickly. You know, the whole trust fall, there's no one really there to fall back on. You can go back home and parents can help you, but you got to figure it out. I had a lady that just quit the job. I got a new job recently at Indiana Wesleyan who coined the phrase figure outable. Everything is figure outable. I hadn't really heard it until I started working with her, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I dig that. Everything is figure outable. And I think with the guys going to a new place, it could be freshmen, a lot of them figure it out. Now, they may not figure it out as quickly as you want them to, but they're going to figure it out. And I think for St. Clair to get into the mix, I think he's going to figure it out. But the only way to figure it out, how to get into that mix, have a legitimate shot to win the QB battle, is to give more reps under your belt. The best way for him, really, the only way for him right now was in practice. As you get into the season, those reps get limited. So you have to make every rep count. Thank y'all for tapping and Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find the Portal on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. It's Locked On Buckeyes right here on a Thursday. We'll see you next time.